You lean in, you close your eyes, you tilt your head slightly to the right, because statistically, 80% of humans naturally tilt to the right when they kiss, and then you press your lips against someone else's. It is the universal symbol of romance. It is the climax of every great love story. But if you step back, strip away the poetry, and look at what you are actually doing biologically, it is completely absurd. You are pressing the opening of your respiratory and digestive tract against someone else's and swapping fluids. In a single 10-second kiss, you transfer roughly 80 million bacteria. You are swapping microscopic organisms, dead skin cells, and saliva. From a purely survival standpoint on the ancient savanna, this is a mathematically terrible idea. It is the most efficient way possible to transmit illness, parasites, and disease. Evolution is famously ruthless. It eliminates behaviors that get us killed. If a behavior carries a massive risk of infection, it should have been bred out of our species hundreds of thousands of years ago. Yet, kissing not only survived, it became the ultimate human expression of intimacy. And for a long time, evolutionary biologists had absolutely no idea why. Most animals do not do this. Dogs sniff, cats rub their scent glands against you, birds preen each other's feathers. Even among primates, true romantic, prolonged lip-to-lip kissing is incredibly rare. For decades, anthropologists actually thought kissing was just a cultural invention, a learned behavior, something humans just made up recently. In fact, historical records and anthropological studies show that even a few hundred years ago, nearly half of all human cultures across the globe had never seen romantic kissing before. When European explorers first encountered certain indigenous tribes, the tribes thought the Europeans were trying to eat each other's faces. So if it wasn't a universal cultural standard, why did our biology preserve it so deeply? To understand why you actually do this, you have to look at what is happening beneath your conscious awareness. Because a kiss is not just an expression of love, it is a biological interview. Every time you kiss someone, you are unknowingly gathering massive amounts of chemical data. Human saliva is packed with hormones, specifically testosterone and estrogen. When men kiss women, for example, they pass trace amounts of testosterone through their saliva, which over time subtly raises the woman's arousal. You are literally sampling the hormonal state of your partner. But it goes much deeper than that. You are also tasting their immune system. You have a set of genes called the major histocompatibility complex, or MHC. These genes control how your immune system recognizes threats, viruses, and bacteria. Every single person has a unique MHC profile. It is essentially your biological fingerprint. And from an evolutionary standpoint, if you are going to reproduce, you want to mate with someone whose MHC profile is as different from yours as possible. Why? Because if your immune systems have different strengths, your potential children will inherit a combined wider defense against a larger variety of diseases. They will be mathematically harder to kill. You cannot consciously know someone's MHC profile. You can't look at someone and see their immune system, but your brain can smell it and it can taste it. In 1995, a Swiss researcher named Klaus Wedekind ran an experiment that changed how we understand human attraction. It became known as the sweaty t-shirt study. He had a group of men wear a cotton t-shirt for 2 straight days without using any deodorant, scented soap, or cologne. Then he put those shirts in boxes and had women smell them and rate them on attractiveness. The results were undeniable. Women consistently rated the smell of men whose MHC genes were completely different from their own as highly attractive and pleasant. And they rated the smell of men with similar immune systems as repulsive. Kissing is the ultimate close-range execution of this exact test. When you lock lips, your nose is pressed directly against their skin. You are sampling their sebum, their sweat, and their breath. Your brain is running a rapid microscopic background check to see if this person is genetically compatible with you. If the chemical interview goes well, your brain hits the green light. It floods your system with dopamine, which causes craving, and oxytocin, the bonding hormone that makes you feel deeply attached. Your pupils dilate, your heart rate spikes. If the chemical interview goes poorly, you might pull away feeling like the spark just isn't there. You think to yourself, it was a bad kiss, but it wasn't the technique. Your brain just read the data and realized they were a biological mismatch. But here is the part nobody talks about. Even if kissing is a brilliant biological interview, it doesn't explain how we figured it out. Humans didn't just walk up to each other one day and decide to swap saliva to test immune systems. How did humans start pressing their lips together in the first place? To answer that, we have to go back hundreds of thousands of years, long before agriculture, long before cities, back to the African savanna. Imagine you are an early human mother. You have an infant. Your baby has no teeth, and their tiny digestive system cannot handle tough roots, nuts, or raw scavenged meat. But you don't have a blender. You don't have a stove to boil food down into a soft paste. You have absolutely no tools to process food for a starving infant. So, you use the only tool you have. You chew the food yourself. You chew the meat, the berries, the fibrous roots until they are completely broken down and mixed with your saliva. And then you transfer that food directly from your mouth into the mouth of your baby. Anthropologists call this pre-mastication, kiss feeding. It was the original prehistoric baby food. For millions of years before the invention of jars of pureed carrots, this was the exact only way infant humans transitioned from breast milk to solid food. It was not gross. It was a matter of absolute life or death. And this simple act of survival did something permanent to the human brain. The lips are one of the most nerve-dense areas on the entire human body. They are packed with sensitive nerve endings. When an ancient infant was kiss-fed, their brain associated that intense physical stimulation on the lips directly with survival. It wired the physical sensation of lip-to-lip contact to the deepest neural pathways of safety, nourishment, and profound unconditional love. Over hundreds of thousands of generations, this physical connection became permanently embedded in our operating system. The act of pressing lips together was eventually stripped of the food, but the deep emotional wiring remained exactly the same. We took a desperate survival mechanism designed to keep starving infants alive, and we repurposed it into the ultimate signal of trust between adults. When you kiss someone today, you are engaging in an ancient primal ritual. You are activating neural pathways that were forged in the darkest, most dangerous days of human history. Evolution didn't give us sharp claws. It didn't give us thick fur or armor. It gave us each other. It gave us microscopic mechanisms to ensure we pick the strongest genetic partners, and it gave us ways to bind ourselves to them so tightly that we would survive the harshest conditions on Earth. So the next time you feel your heart race, lean in and close your eyes. Remember what you are actually doing. You aren't just being romantic. You are running a complex, microscopic genetic compatibility test. and you are echoing a million-year-old gesture of survival. It is bizarre. It is dangerous. It is an unencrypted broadcast of your biology, but it is the exact reason our species made it this far.